I have prepared some dialogue here. Phoenix will assert that there is a contradiction in the photograph. The judge will then ask Phoenix to please show the court the contradiction. And then the player is supposed to point at something in the picture. So we do that by set action. Ask player to point an area. Background. We can choose a custom picture. I believe you can put a URL in here, but you can also just have your place as a user-defined place, like I've done here. So if we go into places, I have my custom place here, and it doesn't have to be custom. It can also be just one of these two. Okay, we can use this one, for instance, but I'm using a custom one here. So I've selected it, and now we set the clickable area, because the player is supposed to point at something specific in the picture to succeed here. So we do that by setting coordinates. And now we will have this here. I can't really zoom in. It's in the corner. I guess I can zoom in editing. So we have three modes here. We have polygon, circle, and rectangle. Polygon is probably the most useful one. You get to draw a polygon here freely, like this. Like, yeah, you can just do it however you want. And we have the circle. So first you pick the center of the circle, and then the peripheral. You can get a circle. The rectangle, you pick one corner of the rectangle and then the other. Forms a rectangle. For this, I'm going to use a polygon and select this sword here. So now this sword here, I want the player to click this sword to advance. So anything other than this sword is a failure. The player shall receive a penalty if the player does not select this sword, which means that it will go to this failure frame right here. So I have two conversations here. The failure and the success. So I'll begin with the failure frame ID. So it's going to go to this frame right here, number 3, and then it goes through these. So I'll put 3 here. And if the player clicks on this clickable area, which I just set, then the player is going to be sent to this target frame right here. And by the way, you can have multiple ones. So you can have multiple places the player can select for different dialogues. Well, anyway, this right here is the success, so I'm going to send the player over here instead, to this frame right here, frame 9. So I'm going to put frame 9 here. Now it should work. There's a contradiction in the photograph. Please show the court the contradiction. So now we get to select here. We get this window here with the picture I selected, and I can click anywhere in this picture. So first I can do a failure, so like that. And then it'll loop back, because I looped it back. We'll proceed to another frame, like I showed you how to do that in another one of these tutorials. If I select this right here, get a penalty for that. If I select here, I'll get a penalty. So now let's stop and think for a while here. So here's the victims. So this right here, this one in the white clothes, this is the victim. And the victim's sword was found broken. And Sadnev here has testified that the victim's sword was broken at approximately 11 a.m. the morning of the day of the murder. And the murder took place right here. This is the photograph. This is the photograph that the witness took. And it was taken at 12:23 p.m. Well, hold up. If the victim's sword was broken at 11 a.m. and this was at 12:23 p.m., shouldn't the sword be broken here? Like, how can it not be broken here? We found the sword broken. So this seems very strange.